So just start off with an introduction to yourself, the band itself, and how you guys got together and how you all sort of got your start in music.
Well, we've all been in previous bands. Obviously, we're not spring chickens. We have our experience in all our older different bands, and we're kind of the ones who when our old bands broke up, didn't go and get normal jobs. We stuck with music. Are you still at the music kind of thing? So yeah, we feel like we just were the main driving force in our old kind of band. So getting together. It actually came about because I was going to get my old band together again, because I was doing a solo acoustic thing for a while, just to keep writing, and I really missed being in a rock band, so I was desperate enough to try and do that, get the old band back, but with different members, it was a terrible idea from the beginning. But that's how I met David from PiNKSLiPS. I just thought he was an amazing musician and singer, unbelievable guitar player. So we thought, well, let's just start a band from scratch. And then we auditioned a few other guys. Some guys worked, some guys didn't. And then Shane and Carl came along, and that was about 3 years ago. And usually it doesn't take a band 3 years to release their first single, especially with experienced musicians. But that's, it was COVID, and our drummer actually went in at the end of COVID, went in for an open heart surgery, which delayed the whole project for another year. He was like, guys, go on without me, just get another drummer. And we were like, nah, it wouldn't be the same. So that's basically it in a kind of a brief way. Yeah, basically.
So tomorrow, song comes out. How's the nerves? How are you feeling?
See, I don't think people understand like how much a small unknown band like us put into, say, their first single. I think if you do it right, because this has taken over our lives for such a long time, we're bricking it, because we really do feel people will like it. And up to now, we haven't really felt like a real band. Like we've done some stuff, we've done like Eve Blair on BBC Ulster got us in for a live session at the start of the year, and we did Stendhal and a few gigs. But you're not really a real band until you have music and online where you can guide people to and say, oh, you're in a band. Up to now, it's been like, yeah, but you can't you can't listen to us now. After tomorrow, it'll be like, yes, give me your phone. That's us. Have a listen. So we're very excited, and yeah, but it's always a shot in the dark. You have no idea what the reaction's going to be like. It can be very tame, and you'll be bummed out, which is usually the way. We always, but there's always that chance that it could be going really well and change your life. You just never know.
Tell us a wee bit about sort of bringing your music to Radio Ulster, and it was January, wasn't it?
Oh, we did that for the Eve Blair session.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Taylor Johnson, who's in an amazing band himself called Brand New Friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he produces a few shows on Radio Ulster, and it just our luck. He was a huge fan of my old band, and so when this band got together, he was very, very supportive, and he got us in. He rang us. I was just like, can you do a session for Eve Blair? And again, that's one of the advantages of being around the scene for a while. You have people who have been following you for years who are now in, they've got a bit of power, a bit of sway, and which is fair enough. It's like you put the hard work in, and I was hoping that people who I've met over the years would do us a few favors, and Taylor got in there straight away. And actually, Taylor's sister Lauren played us on BBC ATL as well. So the Johnsons have been very, very helpful. But it was great. It was our first thing. It was the first thing we did that people were going to hear our music, and we got a couple of gigs straight away off the back of it. But the guys in the band are such pros. Like everyone in PiNKSLiPS makes a living from music. Not PiNKSLiPS, but we're all professional musicians or artists or whatever. So doing live sessions like that, you know, we were confident that it's going to sound polished, it's going to sound really good, which, you know, we didn't want to come out of the box as a work in progress. We were like, we're too experienced for that. We wanted to come out, our first single needs to be an absolute banger. And if we get a session, it needs to be proper professional. And we didn't sound like a new band who were on the radio for the first time, and we shouldn't, because we're too experienced for that. But it was a great day for us, listening to ourselves on the radio for the first time. It was lovely.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, because these days, it was in the afternoon, which is for our style of, well, for my style of singing with this band, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon is way too early to be singing those kind of high notes. So we detuned our guitars slightly to help. But I remember being in the van on the way home. The show goes straight up onto the BBC Sounds. So as soon as the show's over, you can listen back to it. So we connected it to the Bluetooth in the van and listened to the whole show on the way back to Belfast, and it was a great buzz.
Can you like sum that feeling up and compare it to something that sort of normal people who aren't musicians would experience, like that feeling of listening to yourself on the radio?
Oh, jeez, I don't know if I can compare it, because it is a very unique feeling. Like, it's the best thing ever. What could you compare it to? I don't have a clue what you could compare it to. Getting your exam results, getting your A levels and or your leaving cert, and it's like all A's, but it's on the radio. Or like, have you seen that movie Almost Famous?
No, what's it about?
All right, okay, well, right, you guys are young and you're into your music. This is your future favorite movie. Just and it's funny because when you're like a young journalist and into music, this is always like people's favorite movie. So I won't go too heavily into it, but there's just a great scene when they're all on a bus and they're actually not on the radio, but they're singing a song. But it reminds me of that, where you're just like, the three of us were in the van and you're hearing your own voices in the radio. It's class, because my old band used to do that a good bit, and then you actually, after a few years, you get tired of it. And then when it stopped for a few years, I was like, oh my God, how could I possibly ever gotten tired of that? That's crazy. If that ever happens again, I'm going to relish every single moment, because it's such a great feeling. And yeah, so we're hoping that YoungBlood gets played on the radio, and we'll get used to that feeling again. But we'll see.
So talk us through a little bit about YoungBlood then. Like, what's the song about? What sort of goes into it? That kind of thing.
YoungBlood is about so I kind of went into a bit of a depression for years after my old band split up. Life was very hard, and I kind of was writing this around the time where things were starting to get a bit better for me again, and I met the boys and life just started. I kind of wrote it as a love story, between me and life, basically. Me being the boy, life being the girl, and that you're injecting this young blood, this new lease of life into my veins. Once an emo, always an emo, I suppose. But we're definitely not an emo band. But when you have blood in the title of your song, people might say, but we're not. I think we're just an anthemic rock band. But yeah, the first line refers to me being dead in a ditch, and but life picked me up and dragged me out of it, and I started seeing the sunny side of life again. And I'm very, very glad to say that I haven't had a depressive moment in a few years now. So it just shows you, music is a great healer, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. That's an amazing story.
It's hard to believe someone as happy and smiley as me could have his demons, but that's the thing about depression, you never know.
Yeah, you really don't. But I'm really glad that you've sort of found your way out of that now.
Oh, thanks, me too. Right. And if someone's listening and they're struggling with mental health, put that at the foremost of your intentions to fix that, because it's the most important thing you have is your mental health.
Yeah, that's so true. So who would be like your musical inspirations like for the band, and who influences you?
It's funny because actually there's loads. I mean, it's loads. It's I think there's 4 bands that we all say, and this is the beauty of PiNKSLiPS, and it's the beauty of a good band when they come together and they've all got completely different kind of heroes or inspirations, and but yet we all still have a lot of the same ones. So I think I say like the likes of like say Nirvana, Biffy Clyro, the Frames, which are a Dublin band, you know, because I grew up down south, so there's a lot of Irish rock bands. Frightened Rabbit, Scottish rock band. Then our guitar player is a huge Manic Street Preachers fan. He's actually the biggest fan of he knows more about music than I swear to God, it's crazy. Our drummer then is like Black Sabbath, Deftones, really heavy stuff. And a bit of advice for anybody starting a band: get a drummer who's into heavy music. that's always been my thing. They're great. They just really give your songs a kick up the butt. And then Carl on bass is a big Earth, Wind and Fire, big funk head. But then we all have similar loves of like Radiohead, Foo Fighters, you know, all these big bands as well, because that's the type we don't shy away from. We're not trying to be this cool indie like twee band. We are all inspired by bigger bands. We write stadium-sized rock, and we're not afraid of it. You know, I know when I was kind of in my 20s, it was kind of uncool to admit that I actually wanted to play in front of a big audience, but we do. And all the bands that were inspired by are big stadium rock-sized bands, and but yeah, the big ones for me would be that whole Nirvana, grunge thing, Soundgarden. Who am I listening to at the minute? Alice in Chains. I've gone back and started listening to Alice in Chains, music that's 30 years old. I feel like grunge is kind of coming back a little bit, so I'm loving it.
So whenever you were young and you were sort of our age, who were the kind of artists you would listen to? Going back.
Same. I swear to God, my musical taste hasn't changed. I think I read that somewhere, that once you're like past your mid-20s, you don't really. But I mean, I'm kind of old school, like Green Day, Weezer. What else do I listen to? Like a lot of rock, a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, like Elliott Smith. Love Elliott Smith. Damien Rice, loved Damien Rice album when it came out. Is there anyone new I'm listening to? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I did a couple of gigs teching for a band who were supporting Nothing But Thieves. So I saw them a couple of nights in a row. They were pretty good. But there's a lot of newer bands that confuse me. You know, like 1975. I don't get them at all. Everyone loves them. Although then again, there's some guys my age who are like loving 1975 at the minute. So maybe I just need to give them a proper listen to. But I don't know. I'm all about the vocal. I'm a vocal guy. So if I don't like a vocal, I just can't. I can never. It doesn't matter how. Like so I'm not crazy about that guy's vocal. I just don't like his voice. Which is okay. That's allowed, isn't it? You don't have to like everyone. So I mean, that's why I just like to listen to like Alanis Morissette. I remember like loving Alanis Morissette. Anybody with a good vocal, REM, stuff like that. That's why I think your man Nothing But Thieves. He's an unbelievable singer. So yeah, I guess anybody with a good vocal is but which is fine, because I mean I'm the vocalist of the band. So Shane, the drummer, will listen to the drums of the song, and I'll be like, "Why do you like that song? The singing's so shit." He's like, "Oh yeah, but the drums are class." I'm like, "All right, is that what you're listening to?"
So before we started there, you mentioned about your wife and you making a mural in Ballymena.
Mm-hmm.
It's not related to PiNKSLiPS, but can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, so my wife's a professional artist. Actually, that's one of her earlier works there. So I was always doing the music thing, and then she would do the art thing. But then when my own band split up, I was just doing solo stuff, which was basically just me doing everything myself, just to kind of keep myself going. Because I have a background in design, in art and design, which I just kind of picked up the guitar and I just left that world behind. But a few years ago, I just kind of started helping her on the walls, just assisting her, just saving her some time. But that kind of grew and grew and grew, especially because of COVID. And me as a musician, all my work was gone overnight. So we had no real option but to kind of take on more mural work, and for me to up my game and get more into art again. And so yeah, we're kind of like a street art team, and we've done a couple of music ones. We went down to Downpatrick and did one for Ash, you know, the band Ash. And Tim Wheeler, the singer, came up to us, and we brought the drummer and his wife out for lunch in Bangor one time. That was really cool. And now I'm kind of doing my own solo murals. It's just kind of, it's going on. I'm really into art again. But yeah, but that's how it is. Like it didn't come out of nowhere. My first love in the art world was drawing and art and leaving cert and college. So, but now it's kind of got a bit out of hand now. But now that we're getting a bit busier with the music, I might have to put that on the back burner again. But it's nice to have both, you know. It's nice that at the very least, if one isn't being successful for you, at least it's always a nice hobby, something to have. Even when music wasn't going too well for me, I was always playing the guitar and singing, and just as a hobby. It doesn't always have to be a job that you do for, you know, something serious that you have to do. It's always nice to just have the skills to be able to sit down and play or paint on a canvas or something.
So you mentioned earlier about your having a previous band before PiNKSLiPS.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever release any music in terms of albums or singles or anything?
Yeah, we did pretty good. We did two albums, 3 albums. Toured up and down the UK, did Reading and Leeds. Supported Snow Patrol, a couple of arenas. Supported Biffy Clyro. So we did all right. Moved over to England to gig, but I think it was all too much for us. We were probably too young and weren't successful enough to. We were all so unbelievably broke. You know, 10 years into the band, and we were living in England in a house together, and you know, cracks were starting to show. We weren't loving each other as much as we used to because just life, just naturally, and it was intense. We'd lived together in houses in Belfast beforehand, and we just grew up together, you know, so we became kind of brothers who just got on each other's nerves and all. But yeah, no, we did some great things. But I didn't really want to throw all that experience away. I just kind of felt like it was such a waste, like just to get, you know, after all that, just to get a normal job just didn't really make sense to me. So I just stuck with music and tried to get better at that because, I mean, again, I'm not, you know, financially motivated by anything in life, you know, and we have everything we need. We've got the house and car, and we make enough to get by. It's fulfillment is the biggest. You know, it's more important than money, I think, for an artist. So kept at music, and you know, so my old band, I feel like that was a very, very intense kind of training, 12-year training for this, and I feel ready to do it all again.
So obviously you mentioned there about supporting Biffy Clyro and Snow Patrol. Obviously, because we're a Northern Irish podcast, what's it like supporting Snow Patrol?
That's great. Yeah, we did it was called the Odyssey Arena, now the SSE. And it was the loudest room I've ever been in. The Snow Patrol fans in Belfast are just, they love them so much. And yeah, it was great. It was us, Snow Patrol, and a band called Everything from England. And then, so they asked us to do that, and then the O2 Arena in London as well, which was amazing because, you know, big Snow Patrol fan. It's nice to meet the guys. And then the Biffy thing was in Cork. There's a Live at the Marquee. I think it's like a 5,000 capacity arena. Biffy got in touch, and like Biffy are one of my favorite bands of all time. And it's the same thing with Biffy and Snow Patrol. Like, you know, don't meet your heroes, but they were just so nice. Remember, Biffy, they were like helping us with our amps onto the stage and all. And my delay pedal didn't work, and Simon New was like, "Do you want to use my my pedal, and I was like, man, we're on in like 10 seconds, but thanks anyway. So yeah, supporting big bands is kind of terrifying, but yeah, it's a great experience that will stay with you forever. You know what I mean? But yeah, so would love to get some big supports again. Like big supports are like gold dust in this game. It's like it's bands get disheartened when they don't get them all the time, but don't bother. Like, I mean, if we never got a big support, it'd be fine. There's enough for a band to do, especially these days with all the content and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to rely on big supports, but it's also class if you get them.
So, it's probably a big question, but how are you feeling about tomorrow then?
Yeah, great. I'm quite confident like that people are going to like it. So, more excitement than anything else, because it's gone down really well with the people that we have who have heard it so far. And up to now, people have only kind of heard little snippets. And we've got a music video premiering tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Actually, if you're not doing anything at 7 o'clock tomorrow, we're doing an Instagram live and a YouTube live chat, I believe it is. So we're going to premiere the video, and then just chat to people who are watching the video. If we get like 3 people, we'll be delighted, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that 7 in the morning or 7 in the evening?
7 in the evening. It will be in our studio in Belfast, just asking questions for like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll go on our merry way. But the video is funny because, you know, as I say, we've accumulated, you know, we have our own studio in Belfast, and we've accumulated kind of nice gear over the years that, you know, a brand new band in their early 20s wouldn't have. You know, this is the dedication that we've shown over the years, that we have nice laptops, we have nice studio speakers, we got all this stuff. And during COVID, there was the Arts Council gave artists a few quid to spend on equipment and stuff like that. So I have a nice camera, and Shane, our drummer, has a nice camera, and we were thinking about doing a music video for this song, and we were like, how can we do a music video for like nothing? Because we're our own label as well at the minute, you know what I mean? And Shane was like, Gerry does murals. We'll just get Gerry to do murals. And we actually have a wall in our back garden here in Bangor, that to kind of practice on. So I was like, okay, well, let's do that. So yeah, you'll enjoy the video. It's literally like the boys calling around, filming me painting a mural of our logo on my back wall, and we're just literally having a laugh, because like we're not trying to be like Motley Crue or like this cool band who have a look, have an image. They're trying desperately for people to think they're cool. I've never been like that anyway. We're just writing really good music, and we're just lads going on wearing hoodies. Like this hoodie, I've been wearing this hoodie all week. Like, you know, I'd wear this to a gig. It's fine. So that the video, it's really DIY, but it's a really good watch. Shane, our drummer, filmed and edited the whole thing. We didn't even know he could do that, but there you go. It's funny because all of us in the band were able to bring all these kind of different skills, and like there's no 2 people who do the same kind of thing really. But like, so I can do graphic design because I studied in college. I can do murals. I can do some video editing. Shane does a lot of video editing. Carol, you know, I went to music production college, so did David. So I can do audio to a certain level. Then Carol, our bass player, is really, really good at audio. So, you know, it's like we can do all these things. David's amazing at the label side of the band. He's applying for festivals without us even knowing it. He's doing all these, like, you know, all these website things on the internet that we don't have a clue about. So anything that saves us picking up the phone and looking, you know, paying for a graphic designer or paying for a video editor, we don't have to do that because we all have that skill set. So basically the video is me painting a mural and the boys just kind of standing around watching me having a laugh.
Yeah, we'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just
Simon's volunteer. Oh, sorry, Simon. Simon's volunteering at a Christmas charity radio thing, so he'll play on the radio in Ballymena.
Yes,
next
I will.
week.
Hey, happy days. Take a video for us, will you?
Well, sorry.
Take a video and we put it up as a story.
I will try and get my parents to get you a recording of some description.
Please do. Yeah, we're all about the stories these days.
We can't guarantee this is like gonna have like.
Is it just out of interest? Is there any swearing? Because I may have got told off for using the F word in a busted song.
No, my old band had one swear word on an entire album. Oh yeah, one swear word on one song, and the entire album came up on Spotify as explicit, every single song, because of that one thing. So the second single that we're going to release does have an F-bomb, but only when we sing it live. I changed the lyrics for the recording. It's just not worth it. It's just, I can't be, it's not as if we're doing gangster rap, like, you know what I mean? We don't need it.
Yeah, this one didn't have anything to say it was explicit. And then I realized just as it was about to say, her favorite words are fuck off.
Hi!
And it played it, and I got a dirty look. And I think I may have offended a lot of the grannies around Ballymena.
Yeah, easily done, I'd say, in fairness.
To be fair, you wouldn't have ever guessed that song would have had a swear word in it. Like, it was. What song was it?
Oh, what's it called? She Wants to Be Me by Busted.
Oh, that's got a swear word. Busted have a swear word.
They do?
That's what I was thinking too.
Because there was another one I played that had bitch in it, but I realized like 2 seconds before, so I was able to skip it. And the person who was sitting on the technician's desk thought something had broken, and then I had to explain it to him, and he just laughed.
I bet you that was Charlie Simpson. Actually, that's another band we played with. Charlie Simpson has a rock band called Fightstar.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah, we supported them as well in the old band.
What's he like?
He's lovely. He heard us on the radio because we played Reading and Leeds, and because of that, on the BBC introducing stage, so they played all the bands every single day during the week. And Charlie heard us, and we were more emo, and Fightstar emo, and we had a song called "All You Know and Love Will Die," and of course Charlie loved this song, so he asked us to support them, and he was lovely. He was very, very, very nice.
Yes, so I was about to ask, going back to supporting Snow Patrol, what's Gerry Lightbody like?
Sound man. I'd hate to tell you otherwise, but he's exactly how you think he is. Just lovely. I've met him loads. He's lovely. He's a lovely man. Wouldn't have a bad word to say about him. And he gave us some of the best gigs of our lives. So I'm eternally grateful for the man. I haven't seen him in a while, but I know people who work with him, and he's in great form.
He seems sound anytime we get to listen. Well, we've never met him, but anytime you get to listen to him in interviews, he just seems like a sound guy.
Oh yeah, he's just like that. It's not contrived or anything. It's just a nice man. If you ever get to meet him, you won't be disappointed. Unless you're having a bad day. Just don't tell him you know me. That'll piss him off.
I got the feeling I don't think we're likely to meet him. But if we do, I won't tell we know you.
But you never know.
Oh, well,
Joe could be planning a big Ballymena show sometime. In Granny Annie's.
Oh.
Rosa's not a big fan of Granny Annie's.
No, probably not. I don't want to say anything bad about anywhere who have employed me as a musician in the past. I actually don't have anything bad to say about Granny Annie's. I used to just go in and sing the songs and leave, and it's quite lovely.
The one in Ballymena?
Yeah. So me and all the boys like to as a job. Unfortunately, PiNKSLiPS doesn't pay their rent, which is probably not a surprise to anybody because of Spotify and stuff like that. It's very difficult for musicians to make it. Even musicians who are getting lots and lots of plays. But so we all do like cover stuff at the weekends, and I just said to Simon that I used to play in Granny Annie's in Ballymena. There you go.
Wow. That's really interesting. I didn't even know they had live music,
Well, it was early. I remember being finished by like 8 or 9, like 9 o'clock, because the DJ would be upstairs, ready for like 9 o'clock, ready for the party. So anytime you were there, you'd probably have missed the acoustic guy because you'd be there a bit later, maybe.
Yeah.
What's the crack? I've missed you.
Right, that first part was hilarious.
I just bought a hat. Right? that it's not just a hat. It's a hat that's got a light.
We used to sell those in Shoe Zone.
Yeah. And also, you can listen to music. You can listen to music through Bluetooth as you run. Isn't that amazing? So there you go.
Can you give us a 15-second tease of YoungBlood through that hat?
Do you know, I don't think I can. No, I don't think I. No. Can I? I'm trying to think because I just bought it, so I need to figure out what to do. No, maybe not. I could fake it.
If you want to fake it, if you want to fake it, fake it.
Let's fake it. So yeah, okay. Okay. So I'm just connecting the Bluetooth here to my hat. Okay, let me see if it works. The hat on, put the light on, and press play on the hat here. Wow, sounds great.
So the first people that will ever listen to YoungBlood outside of anyone who worked on it is listening through a hat.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world of modern technology.
The privilege. This is the best fucking thing I've ever bought. And it was like 15 quid. I run a lot, you see.
Oh, okay.
Which again ties back to any kind of mental health. If anyone suffers from depression, I swear to God, I've tried everything. Running is hands down, or like whatever physical exercise is hands down the single greatest thing. So if ever later in life, guys, you go through a tough time, run. Just run. Keep on running. It's great.
Start running. Did you only take it up whenever you sort of hit your depressive episodes?
Yeah, actually, I did. Yeah, I this years ago. Jeez, you're talking about 15 years ago, because I was very sporty growing up, and I know my parents will hate me for saying this, but compared to other people in my position, music wasn't a big thing in my house growing up. It was all football, and then I turned my back on that to be a rock star. And then so whenever I was going through a really tough time, I decided to sign up for a marathon, and it really works. You know, it really works. You just sweat once a day, and releases endorphins and stuff like that. It's great. So I found out about this hat that can keep my head warm. It's a light and it can play tunes. And I'm like, this hat was made for me. Yeah. So I'm going to literally road test this later on the road. Now, what else would you like to know?
Good question.
Good
We'll
question.
just sort of wing it. We had a pile of questions that we've already answered. We'll just sort of wing it from here. You mentioned there about being sporty growing up. What were your sort of sports?
Oh, football, as in soccer. We're originally from Dublin, and the Dublin side of my family are all nuts about football. So, but I mean, I've grown up in Sligo since the age of 6, and supporting Sligo Rovers, and under 13s played for. Leitrim is so small, it's beside Sligo, that they have to kind of tie the two in. So it's Sligo Leitrim League and Sligo Leitrim football team. So I represented Sligo on Sligo Rovers pitch, the showgrounds, when I was 13, and I swear to God, I thought I was just going to be the next big thing. But I was always such a short arse, you know what I mean? And no muscle. Maybe if are you a football fan yourself?
I am, and Sue's Rosa's boyfriend.
Okay, so maybe if there was a Lionel Messi back then to kind of look back, you know, to look up to stature-wise, I would have been different. But oh, mad about football. I went off it for a few years because I didn't think you could be into music and football at the same time. I genuinely thought that was a thing. Until then, a few years into it, I met these amazing musicians who were into football, and I was like, "What? You can like both?" and I got back to it, and I'm a massive football fan, and I love Aston Villa is my team, actually. Would you believe?
I
And it's
didn't expect that. It's my friend's
it's
team.
and I can prove it by something that I've just found on the floor here. It's full of dog hair. I have a dog. There we go. Here's another hat-based thing. There we go. Aston Villa, and for once, it's actually a really good time to be a Villa fan. Who would have thought? So yeah, football, and then
I had a bet when we got relegated last year.
we nearly got rid thanks to Stevie Gerrard, and then super Unai Emery came along.
I think Gerrard's an idiot of a manager, I'll be honest.
What?
I think Gerrard's an idiot of a manager.
Oh, useless, absolutely useless. I saw a great Christmas jumper that I'm thinking about buying, and it's Unai Emery's face. I think he's wearing a Christmas hat, and it says, "We wish you Emery Christmas." So I think I might have to buy that. I think it probably says a lot about my character when I just kind of like I go head first into something, and I get so I didn't have time to be a football fan. I play football. I was like, no, I'm a musician now, because once I get my mind on fixated on something, I'm like that, and I have a few I have a few different passions in life where I take them all like seriously. I have more fun when I take things a bit seriously, like, you know what I mean, like the running. Like I've got this. I'm training for the Belfast Marathon, but like now I'm like on YouTube with these elite athletes where I'm like, no, I need to do it. I need to do it well, or like art stuff, all these things. What else? Yeah, all these things are just like, life's better. You have more fun when you actually know what you're doing. But music's always good because there's always that element of, it doesn't matter how good you are at music, you still like to, you know, at the end of the day, somebody who's never written a song could hum a really nice melody that, you know, could be turned into a great song. I always quite like that. That's the bit that you kind of, I don't know, maybe that's the gift part of it sometimes when it comes to, you know, there are amazing musicians a million times better than me, but I'm quite good at coming up with a hook and a melody and connecting them to a lyric, and I've always been kind of good at that. So yeah. Did you watch that Robbie Williams documentary?
I haven't yet. I think one of my friends has, but I haven't yet.
So funny because he was just so famous earlier on that he doesn't play any instrument. Don't get me wrong, as a vocalist, I truly believe that your voice is an instrument as well, right? But it's different. It's just different. Like, so he had, after Take That, he had a guy, what's his name, Guy Chambers, following him around, and Robbie could just kind of come up with this vocal melody, and Guy Chambers would be right, and he'd come up with the music to it straight away, and like that is such a huge advantage. Like, I mean, I wish someone, you know, would follow me around all day, and I could just like hum little melodies, because, you know, obviously Robbie Williams was good at that. But we're not all Robbie Williams, so I had to learn the instruments myself. So I play guitar and piano and a little bit of drums. This is my music room. So there's drums in the corner, and they're my marathon medals. And there's my piano and the guitar. That's a Radiohead thing. So yeah.
How many instruments do you like? How many instruments do you play?
Well, I mean, it's funny because as a songwriter, I don't, you know, I just need to learn a few chords and to be at a certain level. So I can't shred on the electric guitar, but my lead guitar player can. You know, so I always approach a new instrument as a songwriter. Like, right, how can I write a song with this? So I'm pretty decent at guitar and pretty decent at piano. Only picked up drums about a year and a half ago because just feel like that's the fundamental instrument when it comes to like music's all about timing. I have really good timing. So, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Like, you know, like every instrument, it's easy to get to a certain level, but then every level after that gets harder and harder and harder and harder. But that's why, you know, that's why you have a band. My drummer's an amazing drummer. He can do all the fancy stuff. You know, I'm the one who can write the songs. The boys are the ones who can make them turn them into mega rock hits. I can't do that on my own, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was sick last Christmas and there was a violin in the corner in my wife's house and I picked it up and I got so excited that I bought myself a violin and I haven't touched it since. Maybe it's there, it's waiting for me. I just love the idea of being able to play violin, but I'm too busy at the minute with all the other instruments. But I'll get around to it someday because it's quite nice violin. I got a bit excited and bought a nice one.
So how do you actually go about writing a song then? Like what goes into writing a song?
Good question. It's different every time. Mostly, I will pick a guitar up and I'll start playing, and then I'll just start singing a melody. And as long as you know, I think a lot of people struggle with like just the melodies that they'll come up with are just already existing songs. You know what I mean? And I've heard that before, and I think that's probably the advantage I have. Like, I'll know if there's something I have inside me where I'll know if I've heard that melody before, and then I'll also know if I haven't. And I'm like, oh, that's mine. That's great. But I don't think too much about it. Like literally, like I feel like I'm a bit lazy sometimes because I just think it's when a song comes to you, it's really easy and natural. It's not something that you have to work on too hard. In fact, the less you work on it, the better it is. So I write really fast, and I'll just take a little voice note, and then I'll eventually flesh it into a song by adding lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But there's a couple of songs I have as well that I actually just started off as me just singing into my phone, just bring the dog for a walk, and then I've added the music on after it. So yeah, it's different every time, I guess.
How long does it like take you to write a song, or does it depend really?
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, again, back to the laziness thing. If I'm if I'm playing a song and after 10 minutes I feel like I'm not excited about it anymore, or it sounds like another song, I'll just drop it and leave it and move on, and probably put the guitar down. The best ones always kind of happen when you're like literally you're strumming away for a couple of minutes and you're like, oh, that's really good. But I genuinely have a really short attention span, and it's probably the best thing ever because, you know, it takes a really good melody or a good lyric for me to get really excited about something. So if I actually spend 2 or 3 hours on finishing a song, it means that it's, you know, it's kept me interested enough to work at it, and usually they're the best ones.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I don't really know. Obviously, I'm not. I'm not musical. I'm just sort of interested.
Well, that's all right. That's
So like it's nice like talking to other people that like really know what they're talking about in terms of music.
well. I mean, I don't know if I do know what I'm talking about, to be honest. Because I've never studied music. Like genuinely, it is a laziness thing. I've never studied music. It was the one thing I felt that came naturally to me because I was 18 when I picked up guitar for the first time. So
Oh really?
yeah, I didn't play music in school at all.
Yeah.
Wasn't interested in playing music. Got into alternative music. Gee, I was probably like 15 before I started listening to good music. Because again, where the estate that I grew up in, if you listen to music, you were a hippie or you were a freak.
Oh really?
Yeah, you were a bit of an oddball. So it wasn't until kind of later on in secondary school or college that I kind of started finding my people who were just a bit more like me, and get into it. But yeah, I think I was playing guitar about 3 months. I'd never sang a note in my life until I bought a guitar either, so never sang. I was told to mime in the school choir because I was that bad. I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, so that put me off singing forever, and it wasn't until I was at a concert with my ex-girlfriend and her friends, and I was singing along to one of the bands, probably after a couple of pints, and they were like, "Oh, you've got a really good voice." And I was like, "What?" And then that's all I needed to hear. I was like, "Happy days." I think it is. I've got what they call like a front man's voice, you know, because if I try to sing a harmony with someone else, you're just going to hear my voice. It's just kind of like which is a good thing when you're the lead singer, but it doesn't matter how softly I sing. people go, that's Gerry's fucking voice there, for better or worse. Just a good friend of mine, Candice, she releases music as Girl for Sale, and she asked us to do harmonies, and like loads of different people, like 15 people, just to do a harmony line in one of her songs. And she was slagging me. She was like, 15 people, and all you can hear is fucking Gerry's voice. But yeah, as long as you're the lead singer of a band, that's not a bad thing. But yeah, backing vocals, being a backing vocalist is not. But that's why, like, David's voice in PiNKSLiPS is absolutely perfect, because his voice is absolutely perfect for backing vocals. So yeah, being in a band is like, you know, it's like being, it's a team. It's like if you imagine like a basketball team of like whatever, everybody needs to play in their position and play it really, really well. Whereas my role is up scoring goals. You know, I'm the Haaland of the band, so I get all the plaudits and the glory. But you need Carl at centre back. You know, you need Shane in goal, saving all the shots.
So going back to PiNKSLiPS, where did you guys actually get the name from?
Right. Well, you're definitely not going to get this one because you're too young. Basically, we were called. Well, we knew it wasn't going to be this, but we needed a name just even while we were jamming, and so we gave ourselves one of those long names. So it was Slow Motion Cinematic, which sounds terrible, but we knew it wasn't going to stick. But that was the name of our WhatsApp group, anyway, Slow Motion, and we were watching a movie called Grease, which is a very old movie, Grease Lightning, which I love. And at the end of the movie, they're racing for PiNKSLiPS. And I put up in the WhatsApp group, I was like, what about PiNKSLiPS? And then Shane replied, are you watching Grease? Because it was around Christmas time, we were all at home in our family homes. And he was like, are you watching Grease? And I was like, yeah. And then Dave replied saying, I'm watching it too. And then Carl, who's a bit younger and hates musicals, we were like, Carl, are you watching Grease? He was like, no, but I like the name. And then it kind of stuck. And like, I think we're really going for the whole pink thing. Like, so we got pink everything. These things. Yeah. But these, because we did a gig, they're earplugs, because we did a gig in a small room one time, and we're quite a loud band, and the drum kit alone will kill you, so we get them out for free. And we've got like stickers and cards, and everything's a bit pink, which is kind of cool. So yeah, no, it's good because it kind of sounds a little bit grungy. I've always wanted to be in a band with just one word, so it's like it's all one word, you know, PiNKSLiPS. And it just feels right. Like I listen to the music and I feel like it fits the vibe, you know. That's it. It's hard. Naming a band is really difficult. So to name a band that sounds like the music that you're playing is it's a very difficult thing. But when you get it right, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a really cool name though. I really like it.
Thanks. Better than Slow Motion Cinematic. It's a bit of a yeah. It's a bit of
an album cover. It's easier to put PiNKSLiPS on an album cover than a
definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All one word. Yeah. Oh, and then it was David, our guitar player's idea to make it all full caps apart from the eyes. Make the eyes lowercase, which is just really, really cool. Have you seen it written down? It looks really cool on a. Yeah, you have to think when you're naming your band. You know, if you're on a festival poster or something like that, needs to pop out, man. It's a tough world out there. So yeah, we went with PiNKSLiPS. I like it.
Going a little bit further back to what you mentioned earlier, you said you've toured with Charlie Simpson's Fightstar, Snow Patrol, and Biffy Clyro. Have you toured with anyone else that would be big and well known, or is it just those three?
No, well, I joined the band after. After my own band split up, I actually joined as a touring guitar player, a band, and we did the biggest tour that I've been involved in. We toured Europe with 21 Pilots, Have you heard of 21 Pilots?
My friend used to be obsessed with them.
Ah, yes. So we did an entire European arena tour, sold out every single night to thousands of people, which was a lot of fun. But it wasn't my band, it wasn't my songs, but it was a lot of fun, and the biggest tour that I've been part of. So that was a guy called Bry, and but I mean, just you know, it was a way of staying on stage. I basically drove them around on the UK tour, but they were part of the YouTube scene rather than kind of radio and the standard stuff. So nobody had heard of this guy, and I couldn't believe that every night the tour was like sold out, and there was hundreds of kids at these gigs, and I was just like, wow, this looks like a lot of fun. So when my old band split up, he was like, well, look, do you want to just play guitar for? I played a bit of piano as well, actually. And do you want to? Yeah, because we got on well, and I was just like, fuck, I wouldn't mind playing in a band that are filling venues for a while. So I did that for about 2.5 years. We did UK and then the 21 Pilots thing, and then we did like two tours of Europe, and then I left to do my own thing. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, 21 Pilots fans are crazy.
One of my friends was obsessed with them for years and just kept piling on me to listen to the music. I think I listened to 2 songs and just wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's unusual kind of music. They touch on a lot of different genres. There was one, Car Radio, which I quite liked. Is that Car Radio? I think they put on a great show as well. It's just the 2 of them, and I remember the last night we were playing an arena in Paris, and the drummer came on stage during our set, and he put toilet paper walked around me, putting toilet paper all around me, and walked off the stage. Just as a bit of a laugh night on tour, bit of a laugh. So that was one of the more surreal moments of my life. But it's always like, you know, when it's not your band and it's someone else's band, you never really enjoy it as much. You know, you're always feeling like, I kind of wish, as much fun as it was, you're like, I kind of wish this was my own band. But yeah, that was fun. I think that was the last kind of big thing I was part of. So hopefully, it'd be nice to be able to do stuff like that with PiNKSLiPS again, and sing my own songs in front of all these people. It'd be lovely.
Do you find there is a difference between singing like music that's written by somebody else compared to your own? Do you find I would assume you do more than singing your own stuff?
100%, yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, like, you know, the session player world is everywhere, you know what I mean? So I was a session player. It's completely different. Like me and the boys and PiNKSLiPS, like we, you know, I'll write these songs on an acoustic and bring them into the lads, and then they'll turn them into huge rock songs. You know, it's like, you know, if you know, you could. When I was doing solo, so I've got like 2 solo records. There's me. That's the last solo album I was on. But all the boys in PiNKSLiPS actually play on this as well. But I would have paid them as session players, so it's not the same. It's not, they weren't invested in it. They were helping me, you know, and they did a great job. But when it's 4 lads who have, you know, I can't do what the boys do. I can just ask them to turn this song into a massive sounding rock song. It's totally different. Like, yeah, I would get a much better buzz singing our songs and singing lyrics that I wrote in front of 20 people. I get a bigger buzz out of that than, you know, playing in an arena, playing guitar for somebody else. But you're happy for that guy, you know, and you're happy to be on the stage with him. It's a lovely thing. But I mean, as a songwriter, as someone who loves to be front and center, singing his own songs, I'll never get like that satisfaction that maybe, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of guitar players who that's what they want to do. They want to play guitar for other people because they don't write songs themselves. But I never really got that kind of satisfaction. I just had a bit of a laugh. I just thought it was fun playing in big rooms. But I mean, if we ever did an arena with PiNKSLiPS, it would be that feeling times 100. Like. So you never know.
I
I think
think.
we're sort of out of. I think that we've sort of covered everything, really. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to add?
Oh,
Gerry,
actually,
obviously
yes.
No problem.
What's the plans for the future of the band then?
Oh, well, yeah, well, we've got another single coming out in February, and then we're going to do a small tour of Ireland. I think like Belfast, 24th of February in McHugh's. That's one that I need to plug. Yes, actually, forgot about that. And then we're doing, I think it's like Dublin. We're doing a few dates around the south, but we're literally just kind of starting small, starting easy, just getting out there and, you know, trying to build up a following and doing as much kind of this new modern band as possible. Like, we're enjoying doing the whole content side of things, and we're going to write. We definitely have a good album in us, so there's definitely going to be an album in our future. And we've got a nice relationship with a guy. Actually, the single was done near Ballymena. Yeah, it's about 10 minutes outside Ballymena. You know that road from Ballymena up to kind of towards Portrush.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The new road. It's just off that actually. So it's close to Ballymena. So we'll be there a lot. We've got a great relationship with the producer, Alan McGreevy. He's in a great band called New Pagans, and me and Alan go back years, and I know all the guys who know Alan for a while. So we've got definitely a really good album in us, and I think, you know, currently the plan is to just do it all ourselves, release it ourselves, and just enjoy being in a band and have as much fun as we possibly can, because that's, you know, nobody's forcing us to do this. We're all doing this voluntarily, really. So it may as well be fun, and you know, that's what we get out of it, is just the playing gigs and recording music, and that's what we all want to do. But we're going to enjoy all the aspects of being in a band, doing all the silly things as well. You know what I mean? Doing interviews and doing silly videos and trying to be as artistic as possible, because there's many ways that you can be artistic and creative, not just writing a song. You know, you can have fun with photo shoots and videos, and so we want to be that kind of band that just kind of ticks off all the boxes and have as much fun as possible, basically. Does that answer your question?
That answers
Yeah, it
it
definitely
perfectly.
does.
Excellent. Well, guys, if you ever want an interview anytime, you give me a shout. That was thoroughly enjoyable.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much. You've been amazing.
Cheers,
It's gonna be a
guys.
great podcast, I think. We'll send you the link
Brilliant.
when it comes out.
I look forward to listening to it, and hopefully this will you'll get some more cool guests after this, because I mean, you know, PiNKSLiPS, a big deal. We got like 500 followers on Instagram, guys. This is a big
More
day.
than we have. I think we're stuck somewhere about 50.
50, right? Well, there you go. You'll have 51 after today. Or no, I have a couple of Instagram. Oh, was it Instagram? Was it?
Yes. Actually, there's a good question before you go. Where can people find the music and find you guys on social media?
Well, it depends if they want to actually support us financially or just stream like everybody else. But we're trying to. Obviously, Spotify's a big deal because you get played on playlists and all. But you know, they are literally causing hundreds of thousands of musicians to get part-time jobs, basically. Just for their end of year rap, where they can say, "Hey guys, thanks to all my 1 million listeners, but you know, I still have to work a job instead of you guys paying to buy merch off me," which literally would have avoided that. It's such a shame. But Bandcamp, if people can buy it on Bandcamp for like £1 or something, and that would support us financially. But other than that, it's all the usual places. So we have a distributor, and they Bandcamp, Amazon, iTunes, you know, the usual everywhere. As of tomorrow, and we have the YouTube video tomorrow as well. So, but other than that, we're on, you know, the usual. It's PiNKSLiPS NI is the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, blah, 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 all of the above, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, they'll find us all the usual outlets, I think is what they say, isn't it?
That is perfect. Thank you.
Excellent, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
No problem. Anytime. And we'll see you in McHugh's in Belfast on the 24th of February.
Yes.
First round's on you.
Oh, I like that. Absolutely. Right.
Sweet.
I'll hold you. See you guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, I'm still here. Oh.